So it's a Superman world, and we all just living in it right now. It's Superman weekend, and that is like all the news, whether you like the movie or not. It's all the news, right? So if you saw my review, I loved it. But one thing about Superman is it has a specific tone, and I know myself included, some people are wondering, is this going to be the tone for the rest of the DCU? Well, James Gunn has addressed that. Let's take a look. All right, so this is coming from superherohype.com. It says James Gunn reveals why each DCU movie will be tonally different. So DC Studio co-CEO James Gunn assured fans that each DC universe movie they'll be releasing in the future is going to be different from one another. This comes ahead of the long awaited US theatrical release of Superman, which serves as the first movie of the DCU's Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters phase. Following its early screenings and international release, the film now holds a popcorn meter score of 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Actually, yesterday, I believe, when I looked, it was 95, but whatever. James Gunn on the tonal differences between each DCU movie. During a recent interview, Gunn teased what DC fans can expect from their upcoming DCU projects. After Superman, promising that the upcoming David Cornsweet movie won't become the basis of franchise's overall tone. He confirmed that each movie will be tonally different from one another, which is a strategy inspired by the DC comic books. It's really important that to me that every project has its own stamp on it. This movie is very different from the R-rated movie we're making, a body horror movie with Clayface. Gunn explained. It's very different from the Sergeant Rock movie we're developing. It's very different from Supergirl, which is a space fantasy. Craig Gillespie just walked by here a second ago, who directed that. So every one of these movies is completely different. He continued, what I love about DC Comics and the graphic novels is that they allowed the individual artists and writers to create their own projects, and they each had their own voice. The Long Halloween, fantastic. All Star Superman, dope. Dark Knight, yep. Watchmen, mm-hmm. Those things have very little tonally in common with each other, except for they're a part of the set of communal characters that are in the DC Comics universe. And now we're doing the same thing in the DCU. Okay. Have you ever been annoyed by your coworkers? Do you have a spouse that constantly wants to argue and scream and yell about every single thing? What about that one friend that, despite your many efforts to explain your side, they just don't seem to get it and instead want to complain about everything? Does it make you just want to scream out loud? How about telling them to shut the up? I'm just saying. So I like this that James Gunn came out and said this, because the tone of Superman is very specific. It's, fun and hopeful and very comic booky, if you will, for lack of better words. And some people may be like, "Oh, but is this how the rest of it's going to be?" And what James Gunn is saying and doing isn't like reinventing the wheel. Um, but there is a difference between, a movie being different genres versus different tones. Like, for example, the MCU, they had distinct different genres in their movies, especially during the Infinity Saga. Winter Soldier was like a spy film, and Ant-Man was, a heist movie, right? So the challenge that James Gunn will face, though, is the MCU, although had different genres and tonally, some of the movies were different. There was still an underlining MCU tone, if you will, that kind of gelled them all together. So what James Gunn's challenge will be is, yes, you want to do different movies with that are different genres and have different tones, but they still should gel in a way that when these characters come together, it isn't like, oh my God, this makes no sense to me, right? So that'll be the challenge. But I do like the fact that he's coming out and saying this, like, hey, our focus isn't to have everything be like Superman. Each movie is going to be different and have different tones. And as I mentioned, I trust James Gunn. I have no, at this point right now, I have no concern about what the DCU is going to do. It's going to be different though, because you got an R-rated Clayface that is like body horror, and you have Superman, and you have Supergirl, and you have Green Lanterns that is being pitched as, a crime drama, similar to True Detective. So yeah, they clearly are going to be different tones, but again, the challenge will be, will they be able to make it so, even though it's different types of films and different tones, that there's an underlining tone that allows us to see them come together and it not be shocking. Definitely possible, obviously, because we've seen it done. So, and like I said, I trust James Gunn, and I love the direction DCU is going between Creature Commandos and now Superman. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Do me a favor. If you like the content, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe. And hit that little alarm button as well, so you can get alerted whenever I post new content. And also, do me a favor, share with other people who you think would like this content as well. We have a big goal of 1,000 subscribers we're trying to get to, and we need your help. Appreciate it. Till the next one. Peace.